Yo, yo, yo. Thank you for joining us on a splendipitous hump day episode of the Logistics Lounge, where we talk about everything from trucking to freight brokering to what's the new Lexus SUV coming out next month. You never know what you're going to get here. Come on, stay with us. We have an incredible guest today. It's going to be a fun time as always, and we appreciate y'all joining us. Mr. Hound, how are you doing this glorious day?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. It's just a nice 70 degrees outside here in Nashville, dude. I haven't had my AC on all day, just doors open, birds chirping, people walking around. It's a good time to be alive, man. And obviously, sitting at the desk slinging some freight. So we're doing all right, man. How about yourself?
I don't want to comment. I mean,
Are you telling
uh,
me that you had a good day with drivers again?
oh no, bro, no. I don't know what. I don't know how I get the luck of the draw with like the crappiest carriers most of the time. I really don't, man. Because like, I don't know. I don't understand it. I think that their trucking gods just like don't like me or something. I don't
Well,
know. But
dude, you go after some of the craziest freight that I've ever seen. Sage, what's up, brother? Boycott the lounge. We're just bringing it down internally. You don't even know.
sir, that's funny as shit. Sage should have been in that room last night. Sage, we had like 20 something people in the
Yeah.
boycott in the hashtag boycott logistics
Little
lounge room
little
last
do you
night.
know, Rob, I'm actually deep state bringing down the lounge from the inside. It wasn't even a
Are you
thing before we talked, but
so you would be a lino, what is that, a lizard in name only. You know how they have rhinos and dinos, which is a
I could be
Republican or a
AI, man. You
Democrat
don't
in
even
name
know.
only, you know what I
I could
mean?
be fully
Dude,
AI. I'm a robot.
I was the one, and when you that hashtag, I didn't get a chance to bring it up last night. I don't think nobody saw it in the comments. He did one. It was hashtag boycott the logistics lounge. They need Jesus or something like that. I
Yeah, we
was
were
like,
getting tore apart last night, but you know what? We're growing haters, and that's what it's all about. Apparently, that's the way to the top. So
oh,
and
Sage.
discover today when people start blocking you, that's how you know you're really doing something right. So, Sage,
Unless
go on and hit that block button for us real quick.
unless you're rich and it's because you're tagging everyone and their mother every time you do a post.
Ooh.
Oh
What
man.
what you got going on for the news today, brother?
Oh, brother. Man, that was two brothers in like a back to back. That's fucking funny.
Just a couple of brothers
All right,
lunch.
got a pretty interesting thing. Little article I ran across on CDL Life. Just another one of these things where these state governments, because this one's at the state level, are trying to mess with carriers any chance they get. They don't
Nice.
care. Like I said, carriers are an easy target. You can find them and charge them whatever you want, and they have to do it because that truck is their livelihood, and without it, they can't make money. So, yeah, be a quick little thing, but pretty interesting. So we'll get right on into it. Okie dokie, artichoke. So, as you see right there on your screen, idling a semi truck for 5 minutes or more could cost you $1,000 under a new bill in Washington State. Go figure. But I'm telling you,
Wow.
the West Coast and the Northeast hate drivers like nobody else. Like I'm telling you, I think they just wake up, and they have lawmakers that wake up every morning and think about, let's come up with the dumbest shit that we can to mess with drivers. So, Senate Bill 6304, sponsored by Washington State Senator Marco. I may be saying the last name wrong. I don't know if it's Lias or Lias. Would forbid any diesel fueled commercial motor vehicle from idling more than 5 consecutive minutes in any location. The bill allows for fines ranging from $300 to $1,000 per day. So, you know, yeah,
Let the drivers freeze, man. Let them freeze up there.
dude, that was literally the first thing that I Whew, sorry about that. I don't know, man, what's going on in my throat. I got something in my throat. All right. The bill would also restrict, here's the even more screwed up part, brother. The bill would also restrict the use of diesel-fueled auxiliary power systems, or APUs. So you could also get fined using your APU for the same increment, more than 5 minutes. The fine is still $300 to $1,000 a day. So, I mean, like, how ridiculous is that? You know, the APU, for one, those things are really quiet. Like, I mean, unless you've got one of like the first gens where it's literally like a damn generator on the back of your truck screaming, like, those things are extremely quiet. They're extremely efficient. They put off like very, very little emissions, which this is totally about noise. I will point this out that the bill, although I still don't agree with it, strictly has to do with any commercial motor vehicle that is parked within 100 feet of a restricted area, those of which include individual or multifamily housing units, schools, hotels, motels, hospitals, senior care facilities, and child care facilities.
So you can't park anywhere.
Dude, yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, you know. And it does sound bad on the face of it. Again, I still don't agree with it, but as I read through and I saw, you know, oh, well, it's for places that like drivers aren't fucking parking anyway and running their trucks. Yeah. And if they are parking there, it's because they're going home. You know what I mean? So, you know, it could be worse. There are places like even in Dallas, dude, at Walmart's, like even unloading, you can't idle your truck for more than a few minutes. Not at the DCs, because all the DCs have that rule, but like the stores themselves, the city has put in ordinances that like if you idle for more than 5 minutes and they catch and the code enforcement or cop catches you, they freaking fine you and stuff. So at least this one, it is, you know, it's circled around those specific things, you know, the hotels, motels, stuff like that. And, you know, again,
that's right, Robert.
That's true, bro.
I was about to ask where that money's going, but you just nailed it.
I don't know who this is because we're not pawning on Facebook yet. It could be Kyle. It could be fucking, I don't know. New York City already does this big time. They'll find you in New York City for
that's why New York City's getting boycotted. Ain't nobody going there.
Dude, the Northeast is bad. Hey, the Northeast hates truckers. They do, bro. Yeah. They do. Hey, the Northeast, they should nickname the Northeast Buc-ee's because they hate drivers. They don't want you nowhere on their property at all, period.
Hey, if anything, man, Buc-ee's is keeping four-wheelers out of truck stops.
Yeah, you say that, but I mean, again, bro, it's another one of those things. Every fucking thing in your store came off a truck, and you hate trucks. And I get it. It's because, man, drivers throw pee bottles out their stuff. They're dirty. I'm not saying all, but you know, there are dirty ones out there, so forth, so on. So in a way, I get it, but you know, it's like, you know, as I say in this industry, it's, you know, or as I said before, the few mess it up for the many. So,
well, you know what would be interesting to see if, you know, these drivers, instead of driving down to like the border of Texas or some shit, just have a convoy pull up on a Buc-ee's. What are they going to do? Fire them? They're going to kick them all out? Or just make a Buc-ee's like a Buc-ee's trucker, you know?
Dude, I used to pull when I drove for McLean. We used to deliver in San Antonio, and we used to stop at the Buc-ee's on the way back. And dude, I'd stop there, and they knew us too, man. They didn't know our names, but they just eventually stopped coming out after about the 5th time. But we would stop there, bro, and we would go to the bathroom. I would go inside, get like a sandwich or a drink or whatever. Every time they come out, you better move, or I'm gonna call a tow truck. Go the fuck ahead. I'll be gone in 10 minutes, bro. That's that tow truck is sitting in the parking lot. Like, have fun. I don't care. You know what I mean? You're gonna be the one to pay that tow truck tow new.
Nah, man, it's all predatory out there.
We know who that is. That's damn Ryan right there. I know that. Ryan, what are you doing on Facebook, man?
Bro, he's trolling. He's been learning from the master himself, Mr. Justin.
He is trolling. Oh no, that's Kyle. I lied. That's Kyle.
Oh, is it Kyle?
That is Kyle. Course. That is Mr. Graves. He always comments in the group so he can try to have that little bit of anonymity. You know what I mean? So and it's so weird. I don't know why his name doesn't show up in the group page. But anyway, that is going to do it really for the news. Like I said, pretty cut forward, simple. Just another one of these things coming out to mess with truckers. I know these idling laws and fines and stuff aren't a new thing, but a majority of the time it's on a local level. It's a city or a county or maybe even just the property owner themselves. And now here we have the entire state of Washington, saying, hey, you can't idle in these places. Although, I want to say once more that at least Washington is being considered about it in the sense that there are places that a driver shouldn't be parked by and idling anyway. I mean, if you're at a hotel or a motel, you're sleeping in the damn hotel or motel, or you're paying to park and going home. If you're at a daycare facility and you're sleeping in a daycare parking lot as a trucker, then I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say, or even a nursing home. I don't know. That'd be quite weird place to park the truck. So there we have it. The news. Always wonderful, always fantastic, always cutting edge and breaking. What's that?
Said it's action packed. Really,
it is action packed. It is very action packed. All Action Pedro. That's what I'm gonna name myself now. Action Pedro. Action Jackson.
You're forever Technology Rob. That's the only
Technology Rob. That is exactly what it is. All right, Hunter. Do you want to introduce our wonderful guest that we have coming on today?
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got another Canadian on the show. Unfortunately, some of you may know him as the man who never did it at the Masters, but soon to come, Mr. Bill Robinson. Dude, I worked all week on that.
that old man stretching. Oh my Lord, that right there.
And that took you a week to come up with that one. Nice.
Yeah. Man, this isn't just taking videos, man. I was having to go out to golf courses, and I even drove up to Canada to get that video. So you're welcome, Bill.
I like the one with the Masters trophy. That was very well done.
Yeah, that was good.
Yes.
When I get better at it, I'll make a video for you.
I'm not like you ever to hold one in real life, so at least now I have a picture showing me one that I can send to everybody.
They can't prove it wasn't you. Exactly. I mean that. Yeah. Well, how you doing, Mr. Bill? It's good to have you in here.
Well, thank you very much for having me, both you and Beefcake and Potato. It's great to be on. I certainly appreciate it, especially seeing as you're the arm candy hunter, as we've already established, right?
Yeah, I've been called a few names, but I guess that's one of them now. Thanks to you and Mr. Ryan. So we're going, man. We're going. Well, Bill, I'm sure most of the people watching here know who you are, but for those that don't, you want to give a little background on yourself, who you are, how you got in the industry, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, we'll shorten it down to the Cole's Notes versions. I am a father, husband of 38 years, father to 3 boys. 2 of them are in our industry, actually. I came into the industry actually selling fuel to trucking companies. Started back in 2002 and did that for about 4 years, selling an on-site refueling system with a way to capture IFTA and everything else and do it online. When I left there, I actually went to work for Transcore, the Link, which is the Canadian version of DAT in Canada. I worked there with Claudia Milicevic for a couple of years, and then after that, I was playing in a golf tournament, actually, and somebody asked me if I'd ever sold freight before and would I ever consider it. And not really knowing what I was getting into, I said, sure, I'll come and meet with you. And then at that point, in 2008 was when I came into the industry right in the middle of a recession. So I never worked for an asset company until probably about 12 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, somewhere around there. Up until then, I typically always worked for brokerages and logistics companies.
Gotcha. So how long have you been in the industry, you said? So about?
I came in 2008 in this side of it.
Oh, that's right.
And 6 years
time to come in,
2002. I've done it for a little bit of time now.
That's when I came into it on the civilian side was 2008, man. And it has changed drastically, hasn't it, Bill?
It certainly has. And that's why when you get some people on LinkedIn talking about the good old days in freight, and they're referring back to 2018 and 2019, I'm like, really, they have no idea what it was like back, 2008 may have been a recession, but the way carriers and brokers band together to get through the recession, to work together, to find freight, to drive rates upward. It was a lot more fun back then. You didn't have to worry about the double brokers and dispatch offices and crappy insurance brokers and everything else we deal with every day now. So it was a great time to be working in freight because we certainly had, I think, more camaraderie, more of a partnership between brokers and carriers. And we all work, at the end of the day, we all work for shippers is really who we're trying to build services and solutions for anyways, right?
Yeah, that's a great point, man. And a lot of the conversations we've had,
Oh, Kyle. Oh, Mr. Graves.
but yeah, a lot of the conversations we have had, between talking about, oh, how do we get truckers and brokers to get along and everything. And it's like, I don't know why it even became a thing. Obviously COVID is when the huge double broker ordeal really came to fruition and started, just exploding as big as it is now. But like at the end of the day, once those pests are out of the way, it is the shippers that control it. Like the brokers, we're just the middleman. Drivers, y'all are the ones that haul the freight. We do the best we can because like I'm not out here bidding cheap on freight because I know I'm not gonna be able to take care of my carrier. I'm not gonna get it done and everybody's gonna be having a bad time at the end of the day. So I don't know. I don't know. What's your thoughts on all that, Bill? I saw that you sent me that thing on today's trucking about the carriers and brokers misplacing the blame.
Yeah, so I do a thing called Shippers Corner, Bill's Corner, sorry, Shipper Report.
Yeah.
It goes out usually on Mondays. Short weeks, I don't typically publish anything. That article I did actually last March, I think it was, when I first published it, and it was who's gouging who, because at that time, of course, we'd come out of COVID, and through COVID, of course, the carriers, the ocean liners, the rail, they all control the cost.
Right.
Again, brokers, we sit between the shipper and the actual cost. And through COVID, of course, the double brokers, the dispatch offices, everybody could go ahead and mark up freight, and they were still getting paid, and people were getting paid for it. When we came out of COVID, of course, now all of a sudden the freight rates wouldn't support it, the volumes weren't there, and that's when we started to see the rise, and quite frankly, a meteoric rise in what was going on with respect to the double brokering and obviously the dispatch offices surfacing now were becoming more and more of a challenge. So when you look at some of the things that have been born out of it, it's, you look at people like, I first ran into the freight validating with Dale, who's become a very close friend, worked with him on this and everything else. He started out to do this to try and protect our industry. At this point, he spent a considerable amount of his own money to do that. I
Yeah.
first, I guess, a little over 2 years ago, when I first started speaking with Cassandra Gaines, again, doing the same kind of thing, coming out to front, hunt freight fraud and try and help protect us all. And Highway, of course, the team there, I think, has done a very good job as well. Because the biggest challenge people forget, they want to blame it on everybody but themselves and, or in certain cases, the real source. If you don't vet carriers and you're not doing your due diligence, then you have to only blame one person typically today.
Right.
But the biggest challenge starts with the FMCSA themselves. So when we talk about the fact that they are broken, and that I'm referring to the standpoint that they're not following their own rules and regulations. They're certainly not vetting anybody in the system. And if there's 326 offices that are sitting in a university building or a UPS office that all have MC numbers that are registered as brokers, you have a problem. And how can
Right.
you not see that if we can all see that from the outside? And how can we not control or stop that? Then people want to turn around and blame load boards. But meanwhile, if they are fully legal and registered, then who are you blaming? It still comes
Yep.
down to FMCSA. I do agree, and I've been asking load boards for 18 months now, or over 12 months at least. They're technology companies. Support us, work with us, help protect us more. So those are the things that we do need them to get better at as well. But the main problem still stems from FMCSA issuing MC numbers. And the last number that we went through, just guys, 900 MC numbers being issued a week.
Oh
That's
yeah.
been going on since last, March, April.
And the
Who?
crazy that I mean, it's crazy that those numbers are still pumping out, even with all these people getting, brought to light and pushed out. I mean, how many brokerages and carriers you've seen get shut down
Right.
on a
And I
monthly
may
basis? Like,
disagree, and Hunter, to your point, I may disagree with, Some of the people put out like 8,800 brokers went bankrupt. 80,000 carriers or MC numbers went bankrupt. Those could be double broker MC numbers just
Oh,
disappearing.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you got that Glendale deal going on, or Mega 3PL Corporation out of Edinburgh. Well, they have like 5,000 MC numbers. They have
Right.
one truck out of Glendale, California, and they'd be all named John Cena, John Wayne, Marshall Tucker, whoever, because they think that's all America is two named people. And they get busted. They have 3 freight guard reports within a month of, well, all within the same day most of the times, but they've only been, active for a month, and then they get brought to light, boom, shut down, and they're on to the next one.
But there are a
So,
lot of great people on LinkedIn right now in our networks and everything else.
yeah,
They're in a position, frankly, where there's a lot of smart people that are helping everybody that have developed certain ways of doing it. They're certainly getting better and better. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of people to certainly support and help the network
yeah,
to be in a position that if you listen to them, you work with them, you reach out to them, they're willing to share best practices. But no matter
right,
what you do today, I may be biased, as I wrote in one of the articles, that I'm a Freight Validate supporter at this point and customer. But if you are a broker not using some sort of validating software at this point, I'm going to strongly suggest you change that position starting tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. We've had this conversation many times with, I mean, hell, since one of our first shows, we've always been about, fighting fraud, freight fraud fighters. Like it's an issue, but I totally agree with you there. There are so many people out here, like weekly, monthly, that are putting out new ways to fight it. And it's not all super expensive. A lot of it, I mean, hell, you talk to these guys and you're part of the fight, they'll probably help you out because these are real people fighting a real issue. Now,
Correct.
obviously, not every shoe is going to fit on everybody's foot, or I don't know the best way to put that. But one of the main things we have been talking about in regards to the FMCSA is, those guys aren't doing anything. They maybe have what 1,500 employees, okay, and most mega carriers have triple that in their employees. And most of the people at FMCSA have nothing to do with freight except for working for the FMCSA. So what's your thoughts on companies like Freight Validate, eCarrier Check, My Carrier Packet, Highway, all these cats coming together and really making a movement? Because I know for a fact Dale brought this up, like getting everybody on the same page in a
Integrating
integrating.
everybody,
Yes,
integrating and swapping information. Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
and it's not necessarily like giving up your platform or your business because there's DAT truck stop, like there's a million different ways to go about it, but
Mhm.
if you're all fighting the same fight, there's a million pieces of pie out there. Like nobody's gonna lose their business, and nobody's gonna be fighting over business. It's coming together and going after the main issue. Like you foresee that something that could be like actually able to happen?
Well, obviously in an ideal world, I would love to see that happen because there is an incredible amount of brain power amongst all of those individuals.
Right.
And if they come together on their best practices, can they overcome the majority of the challenges the FMCSA are causing our industry? The answer is probably yes. They're not going to overcome all of them, but they could overcome a great majority of them. The
Right.
challenge being is if each one of them has a different proprietary software, they have a different platform the way they actually operate, they have different ideologies as to how they're going to build it, then bring them together to be more challenging, not just because of revenue or best practices. It could be because their platforms just don't align very well together.
Right. I mean, you got a lot of people that are doing like ID recognition. Like shoot, what's I don't remember her name. Rob,
Remember?
we just had her on. You just had lunch with her.
Shifra. Ooh, shoot.
Shifra. Yeah.
Shifra was trusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
had a live like demonstration on how it works.
Yeah.
Driver pulls up and they have like a
Right
little
there at the
iPad or
shipper.
whatever, and it scans their face, and boom, you're on your
Yeah.
way, and you're going. See, that's what I'm
Hey,
saying. Like, not everybody's gonna use that. Not everybody needs that. But like to create like an organization, like NOAA or NOAA or whatever it is, but better, fighting fraud.
Yeah.
That's something that I could see happening because like the idea of one party. or one individual just marching up to the FMCSA and being like, we need to do this. That's not going to happen. But if like you said, there's a lot of intellectual people that are doing this. Like I could not personally build something like this. Like I'm still a new cat in this game, even though I've been in for like 7-8 years. But there is still so much to know, and that's the same with everybody. Everybody has these great ideas, and they're implementing such great things that I think it really could or would bring down this issue because we're just floundering right now.
So one of the things when you look at, so when I first started getting identified with this, okay, there's a gentleman by the name of Joe Metton. If you're not following him, he's a great follow, guys.
That's
Yes,
the
we
homie.
love Joe.
Dude,
Joe
Joe's
is
a lizard,
so
man.
awesome.
Joe's a lizard.
So that being the case, when you look at it, from my standpoint, Joe was one of the first people I started to communicate, XDOT, FMCSA. He started outlining a lot of things that he shared with me initially in confidence. How many employees they had, what the responsibilities are. And one of the things that I was looking at initially was saying, okay, well, hang on, FMCSA, let's take a different approach to this. If it's a $10,000 US fine for a double brokering offense, then let's go out and turn the tables and let's start hammering all these $10,000 US fines against them. So as it was shared with me, the reason FMCSA is not doing it is because even if they go out and levy these fines and they actually pay these fines, guess what? They do not get the money at the FMCSA level. It goes into a different completely coffers. So fundamentally, you have a breakdown and challenge at this stage now that even if they do that and go out and put it forward, the funds are not going to go into their department to help them grow and or develop additional tools. So that is the first flaw. The second flaw when it comes down to it is they may be breaking their own rules and everything else, but let's look at this fundamentally. Should the FMCSA, which is supposed to be about motor carrier safety, protecting the public and the highways, should they be the ones actually vetting and putting an MC number out to the people in our industry? I don't think they're the right organization, frankly, to start with.
Nope.
So I have a different view of it than some people. Other people turn and say, oh no, they're absolutely the right division. Yeah, if you're a double broker or somebody breaking the law or opening up 20,000 MC numbers and saying I've never had affiliation with another one, you love FMCSA. I got that.
You're only the second person that I've heard say that. Honestly, I didn't even think about that until it was last week. And I can't even remember where it was, if it was here or on X or whatever, but someone said the exact same thing. Like, why is the organization that is supposed to be for safety and these other things the ones that are in charge of vetting people and allowing people into the industry and stuff? I think that is a very good point and something that should be pushed out there a little more and get people like thinking on that.
Well, yeah, and I think the other thing when you look at it right now, Rob, is the other thing is that the network and the community sharing and coming together online, it's starting to do that already. Last year, again, sometimes you get, rose-colored glasses and think, okay, let's try and take a different approach to this, and let's create more of an ideal world for carriers and brokers to come together. So I thought, well, if nobody else wants to help the problem, nobody else wants to fix the problem, let's do it as an industry and let's create a private network. What was interesting is when I did a poll, I've only done one in my life, by the way, and it took me a bit to figure out how to do it, but I just asked the brokers and the people on there, carriers and brokers, if there was a private platform, a load board, a vetting software, and potentially additional services like COI compliance, things of that nature, would that be something of interest and what would you pay? What was interesting is
I remember
over
that
4,000 respondents said they would pay $700 a month US to have a private network where all the carriers were vetted and all the brokers were vetted and a safe platform. So I still believe that with some of the load boards and some of the things going on right now, the changes they're making, they may not be as fast as people would like, but our industry, I think we're working together at a higher level than people realize right now. And there's going to be some things coming forward in the next little bit that will shed some more light to that as we develop it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. With that, especially the last part of that comment. And because you talked about earlier, man, there are a lot of us in the background that are talking and swapping information. I mean, there's groups of like literal groups, and then there's groups of people, that we're sending each other, hey man, check out this double broker I just caught. And then everyone does a post about it. Man, check out this double broker, look at this MC, look at this carrier, this MC, and people are making lists of them and stuff, coincidentally, I will say this, that, where someone sees an opportunity is nuts. Cause I literally had someone try to post in my Facebook group a list of like 20 or 30,000 MC numbers that were verified double brokers and bad carriers and stuff. And I was like, man, and it was like $300. And I was like, dude, man, if someone would buy this, bro, I could make like a shit ton of these lists. I could retire off these lists. But anyway, point is there's even people now trying to monetize it. So you're right. There are a lot of folks in the background trying to do it. The sucky thing is that like we're doing it to help our industry and not getting paid for it in a sense. And it's sad that we have to pick up the slack, from the organizations and the agencies and departments and so forth that are supposed to be doing it for us. But man, who said something about this? The great communicator. There is nothing the government can do that the private sector cannot do better.
Generally, most cases, I think generally in most cases we're all going to agree with that statement to a degree. The problem being is that if the private organizations are not the regulatory body, then we certainly can't at that point make any changes to it. At that stage, we don't have the same impact as if we were making the regulations to start with. So no matter what, when it comes down to it, here is the ideal scenario, gentlemen. And I think everybody will agree. It's great that we all fire out and send out all these things that says, here's a list of bad people. I call them bad actors when I write. At the end of the day, we should be able to have more of a platform that says, here are all the good people. Here are all the good actors. Here are all the people in the carriers that are actually doing the work, making sure that the carriers that incur all the cost, the fuel, the expenses, and everything else that they go through are the ones actually getting paid. Because people can say what they like. Brokers will protect shippers to keep their customer. They'll pay the double broker and they'll have to pay twice and things of that nature. That sort of absorbs the shipper. What people don't realize in looking at the numbers over the last, since November of 2022, is how many carriers in the SME, 7 to 10 trucks or less, have been affected by double brokers that they can't pay the fuel. They're missing truck payments. They're going out of business because of double brokers. We talked about it before we came live. If you bought it, a truck brought it. At some point, whether it's intermodal, air, ocean, all the different modes we touch, the final mile typically is delivered in some form of a truck. They're the ones we have to protect. They're the ones we have to look at, and without them, brokers, shippers, we really have no network. So if they keep getting lambasted by double brokers and brokers who won't pay the bill when they're reached out to and are supported properly, then what are you going to do when they're gone?
This will be slinging freight to non-existent trucks at that point.
Right.
We'll be underwater.
Right. So I'm going to book a school bus with square wheels and try and push it up a hill.
It can be done. All right.
But I'm saying
it can be done. Nothing's impossible. Throw a new chassis under that thing and put a fifth wheel on it. We'll make it work.
Right. See, and of course, now you're going to lead into the next one, which we're not going to go on to in this show, but the chassis battle is supposed to take place between Ocean and Draven and in the North American marketplace.
I'm talking about the chassis on the bus itself. Make sure it can hold that weight. I met a dude. He had a Chevy or some Suburban and completely decked it out, like redid the whole chassis on it, and he hauled cars from Nashville to Texas with his dog and back like 3 times a week. And I was like, how the hell how do you haul that weight, man? He's like, man, I just took it to the shop and got it done. Most comfortable truck I've seen.
I know between Donner and a bunch of the other people online, we certainly get to see some interesting ways freight gets moved,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. You saw that big huge stack of water bottles on that pallet that I took live time here in Nashville, didn't you? Right up
Yeah,
in the front, just one strap over.
I
It's
do. I
Did
do
y'all,
watch all of those. In addition to playing Name That Tune with you on email, yes, I do read the rest of your emails.
did y'all see the post? Did y'all see the post of the guy who was trying to move a load of eggs in a pickup truck, like
I've been
300?
hearing about that. I didn't see it though.
Dude, oh my, like I feel bad for the guy because everyone dug into his ass, and I get it. Like he was an idiot. Like the dude posts
They're
about
still
it in
digging
full,
into him.
but yes, but he was like, "Hey, I have a load of eggs. It can go in a pickup truck," and everyone's like, "Bro, them eggs for one ain't gonna make it."
I
like
mean, if you got a
period.
sleeper cab on that thing, you got a little bed cover. Might
I
Dude,
think
work.
I saw the post, and I'm pretty sure Dan the Road Driver's comment was probably the best one on there. That I
Rob,
haul
can you
eggs.
find this? Can you find this
Trying
picture? I
to put
want
that
to
in
see
a
it.
pickup truck just will not work.
yeah.
I'm going to reply back and say, but Dan, it's a full air ride. It's a Dodge.
It's got a Hemi.
Oh,
It's a Hemi.
oh, that was awesome. Bill, if we can for a minute, or if we can, I would like to switch gears a little bit on talking about you, or do you want to cover some more with what we're talking about on the fraud thing, or can I kind of switch to asking you some stuff like some other things?
Right. So I'll follow your lead. And at the same time, when it comes down to it, Rob, remember the comments on the right side from the people. Without my glasses, I can't read shit.
Yeah,
So if there,
you forgot about the questions, man. You forgot about
But,
so if there are
but,
questions that they want to
but
ask, you want to answer, or something of that, just let me know what they are.
yeah, no, this guy here, I mean, he's asking a good question, but honestly, it's this: what should a dispatcher do if the trucker doesn't pay the dispatch fee, bro? Hey, move on. I mean, honestly, the only recourse you have is small claims court, and unless you're talking about a couple $1,000s, is it really worth it for you to go file something in small claims court? I don't think you can file on their insurance or anything for something like that. So, I mean, it sucks to say, but I mean, you're pretty much screwed, dude. If they didn't pay you, they didn't pay you. That's just kind of the bad part about doing business.
Okay. So the first thing we have to look at is first and foremost, when somebody's asking a question like that, that means typically you're a dispatch service. You're not licensed as a broker. You're not licensed as a carrier. That means you're using their MC number, you're using their insurance, and you're likely using their load board account. That being the case, if a dispatch service is going to be legitimate and legal, then they're only allowed to work for X amount of carriers. And the biggest difference they have to make sure of is their contract. So, in addition to the contract to make sure they get paid by a carrier, the terms, and what they actually represent, the other portion of a contract, which is huge for a shipper, especially if they're entertaining working with a dispatch service versus a broker or a direct asset carrier, is what liabilities does the dispatch service and the carrier have between them? If they don't have that in a contract covered properly, and there is an accident, never mind a shock, a nuclear verdict, or a reptile verdict, which is a whole different ballgame. Let's just talk about a normal claim. If they don't have that agreement and that licensing done between them, then how will they actually be able to process a claim if the carrier just walks away from the dispatch service who booked the freight? So the contract for that individual to make sure he gets paid and everything else is where he should make sure with any carrier he's working with, he's dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and he is operating as a legitimate service. If he doesn't have that contract in place, then essentially the carriers are going to take the freight he offers and never pay him.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go. There
Or
you
you
go.
could just take out that fee in the load.
Bill is
Like,
Bill is here
get your money.
all week. All week. Showtime's at 5, 6, and 7. Nothing.
Well, I do have a CITT event to go to at 7 o'clock tonight, so no, I won't be able to do that one tonight. But again, when it comes down to it, it's no different when I wrote the article behind the COI. I got a lot of flack over it because of the fact that brokers who just accept the COI say, okay, I've got a legitimate COI, I've got a legitimate MC number, I'm off to the races, I'm booking the carrier. Well, when you look at it, it doesn't. The first clue And everybody wants to put COI sometimes online and say, tell me what's wrong with this. I stopped replying 10 months ago because people don't seem to realize if you look at the bottom left box, it says cargo insurance. It doesn't say all perils. You should stop right then. Look at the exclusions that are in that contract. They'll have generally 7 or more of them that are going to exclude your freight. 2 of them right now, that 2 brokers and insurance companies in the U.S., and one of them is the largest in the history of insurance, they have 7 exclusions, and 2 of them are against the Transportation Act. They lose the freight on their dock or deliver to a wrong dock. They have spillage or contamination. They're not covering the freight.
Wow.
Meanwhile, what's the insurance for?
For the COI.
All right,
Get
Get the
so
load.
Bill wanted questions, and now we got questions coming in. Alex, we were just talking about you a little bit ago, man. All bad stuff, I promise. Never anything good. We only say bad things about people.
Hashtag boycott the lounge.
Hashtag boycott the logistics lounge. That's right. Bring us the haters. All right. Alex says, Bill, because hey, you don't have your glasses. I don't have mine either, man, because they put a glare on the screen on my glasses. But Alex said, at what point do we start blaming the carriers? Knock on wood, I've never hauled a double brokered load that didn't pay me. Bro, that is a bad way to start that out. Always going to be bad actors. It's not hard as a carrier to credit check, double check FMCA number to verify. For one, bro, you just straight up admitted that you ran a double broker load, Alex. That's horrible of you, man. Like, what are we ever going to do with you? It's not hard for a carrier to check.
I think also what Alex is meaning to say in the first one is, when do we stop blaming the carriers?
At what point do we start? Maybe.
Well, I think he's saying like blaming carriers for not doing their due diligence, not doing their homework on who they're booking the freight with.
Well, okay, if that's the case, then, very valid, because I have put it out many times that carriers that have decided to go direct to a shipper, one of the things they have to do and be very diligent on is make sure they're doing credit checks and references on that shipper. Make sure that they can pay them. Never mind that there's a new scam out there where the Glendale boys that have moved into New Jersey and Colorado
Wyoming
will call you now and set up with it. Wyoming will set up a carrier and say, I'm a shipper. Said carrier now brings them in as a shipper. And then at that point, he goes out now and he's going to broker, put the loads up there. Okay.
Right.
And now at that stage, he turns around, right? And he gets another call from a carrier. Meanwhile, it's the same person. They turn around, the broker now is paid, the shipper, blah, blah, blah. They pay the carrier, they go to bill the shipper, and the shipper's disappeared. They're in the wind, they're ghosting, and they weren't real. So I agree that right now what they should be doing is be in a position where that they do a better job of vetting the shipper first and vet brokers. If the broker is 6 months old, understand his financial capabilities are limited at best.
I want to touch on this. Alex, this is actually a really good one. And really, when it comes down to it, here's the simplicity of it to me is carriers are complaining, and I'm not saying complaining like not a valid complaint, but carriers are complaining and talking about like, I can't afford freaking fuel. I can't afford this. I can't afford that. Dude, carriers don't have the money to pay. Like, dude, DAT is what, the cheapest subscription, $150 a month or something like that. Dude, carriers don't have most of them, the ability, man, to spend what, $150. Most of these platforms for vetting are $100. And everyone says, oh, just go to FMCSA. Dude, FMCSA site is trash. If you're using them in any part of your vetting, like, you're doing it wrong, dude. I don't trust shit on that website because it is too easy to falsify. But basically, to me, it comes down to a money thing for the most part, man. And I also think that that's why a lot of carriers use dispatchers, is because, they use dispatchers as a secondary a wall of defense. They're like, hey, I don't have time for this. I don't have the money for this. But a dispatcher usually has, at least the ones I know that are good at what they do, they have access to DAT on their own. They have access to like highway and e-carrier check and those things. So it's a cost thing, and it's also in the sense of time thing. Now, when it comes to the new brokers, like Bill was talking about, that even makes it harder, brother, because there are some really great new brokers that are fucking awesome guys and girls, man. I mean, I was one of the carriers. Like, I was helping a buddy of mine build his company a while back, dude. I used to love dealing with new brokers, loved it, bro. You're going to quick pay me for no fee. I'm a COD it, but I had programs at my disposal because I'm a broker that I could check them out. I could look at reviews on like Carrier 411, on DAT, on ITS. For all of you newbies, ITS is truck stop. It used to be called Internet Truck Stop on ITS. So, again, to sum it all up and bring it back around again, dude, I think it's a money thing. It really is. I think that is kind of the root of that with carriers. It's hard to carry all that overhead, man, on a program when you could really just, use kind of a dispatcher. So, actually, now that I think about it, I'm rolling it back on you, Alex. You're still to blame, bro. You're still to blame.
Before we put blame, and let's, because one of the things that the Logistics Lounge is going to be known for as we move forward, in addition to being an entertaining and knowledgeable and information show. So let's start with one thing. There is a platform already that the carriers, if they can't afford $40 a month, then they shouldn't be in our business anyways. So if that's the case right now, every carrier can sign up with Freight Validate for $40 a month and see and check every MC number on every carrier. No, they can't check a dispatch service because they don't have an MC number. They're not, remember, there's still a gray area as to whether a dispatch service is actually legal. When they start going out and posting 200 trucks and brokering freight and everything else, and they don't actually have, right now at this point, an MC number or a bond. So remember, a dispatch service, without the contract and everything else we referred to earlier, if the carrier doesn't have that ironclad, the dispatch doesn't have that agreement between the two of them, then they don't have, they're not supposed to have an MC number. Traditionally, look at it. You've got an MC number because you're a broker and you paid a bond and a surety bond. They don't have that. There's nothing to go back on them to do that.
Yeah,
now, I also saw, hang on one second.
Steven, I want to get to Steven Tittle's comment. Is that who you're talking about, Bill?
Yeah, Mr. Title.
Is it Title or Tittle?
Title.
I think it's Tittle because I know a Derek.
I went to school with a kid named Tittle.
Yeah.
I want to say his name was Steven Tittle, but I know it's not this Steven. But
hey, here's some useless information for you before we move on. Do either one of you know what a tittle is without Googling it?
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
A tittle is the dot above a lowercase I. Who fucking knew that had a name, bro?
I didn't.
Anyway,
hold on a second. I like to call Matt Armchair nickname. I obviously call you got the potato nickname already, so we don't have to come up with one for you. Beefcake, Arm Candy, the Hunter, right? So now at this point, when I talk to Steven or when I'm on the school, spelled correctly, SKOOL, as you know, I can now just call him Dot. So you're now Steven Dot. You're the man. Okay, you fit behind everything. You are a Dot. I would like to be known as Bill the Hyphen Robinson. So
Bill the Hyphen.
When reporting these people to FMCA, DB is a lot of the people don't go all the way to reporting these people to FMCA. Say how many workers who figure out a load has been double brokered, how many of them report to DBs? Again, it's a very valid question. And I think right now, when we look at it, how many people are tired of trying to go to the FMCSA to actually report something? How many are actually in a position where, frankly, right now, they have done that and gotten absolutely nowhere? How many people have ever actually met with the FMCSA before? Yep.
Well, we reference back to Mr. Dale Prax. We reference back to Mr. Dale Prax, and he has that AI that goes through every single day, pulling double brokers. And he said out of, I want to say like 200 like complaints that he sent to the FMCSA, he's gotten 2 responses back, one of which saying they just need to change their address or something like that, and the other one is like they literally just push it off to the side. They don't do anything.
Listen, there's a lot of things that Dale I keep telling them, don't share everything online because these guys, the one thing about the bad actors is they have more money and time than all the rest of us to get ahead of us. And every time we close a door, they're going to come in through the back window.
Oh, I've been saying that forever. The more we talk about it, I mean, they're already 3 steps ahead of everything we're discussing.
Well, that's
Like,
why we're trying to get ahead of them, and we're trying to do everything we can. At the same time, listen, I do think that Highway and Freight Validate and these companies right now at the moment, they are getting far better at it. It
right.
comes down to what's the comfort level, what do you do, and what happens, right? But the reality is so far, if you look at it, there's supposed to be a cool off period when they issue an MC number that you're allowed to come in and question FMCSA and ask questions. The problem is that the cool off period before it goes and the time frame you're allowed don't match. So if I'm not allowed to complain about an MC number for 21 days and the cool off is for 10 days, that bad actor has that for 11 days before we can file a complaint.
What if we just double broker the complaints? We make fake people and we just complain that way. Or we double broker the double broker.
Jason's comment right here. So listen, Steven's had success with doing it. At the same time, when you look at it in Jason's case, this is what I understand. Most people that DM me or reach out to me to talk, this is the problem what Jason has up. They fire the complaint, they put it out there, and they get a strongly worded letter. There's absolutely no follow-up and no recourse. So when we go to that point, the reality still comes down to, at the end of the day, how do we protect our industry? How do we get better at it? And who do we engage? That's what we're working on. And there is, believe me, Dale and his lawyer just met with FMCSA. Ann Renicky from TIA has met with FMCSA, Congress, and everything else many times, and I support that fully as well. I turn and tell Sage, and by the way, I love my buddy coming in saying, ban Sage. right
Sage,
now at this point.
Sage is on a tear right now.
Let us clarify about the homie Sage. So I'm not going to we're not going to say anything about him because he's going to come on the show, but that guy is a social media freaking genius. And he has told us, he's like, dude, if you want fans, he's like, you got to have haters. So last night he came up with this hashtag boycott logistics lounge. Bill, we literally created a room on X. We did that was hashtag boycott the logistics lounge, and we had it, and we had the logistics lounge in there as a listener. It was anyway. So Sage is helping us, man.
Well, yeah, see, but my buddy Kyle is all over him saying still boycott Sage.
It's a war right now. It's a civil war.
That's right. And I'm pretty sure they may know each other, but at the same time, Kyle, I've known for a while. He's very good at what he does. And at the same time, I like, his comment. 1% of the revenue are meaning to handle it, put in the hard-working people of Russia to work for us. Thoughts? Okay. I'm not sure.
Do you know I work for Kyle, Bill?
You work for Kyle?
Yeah, that's my boss.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. I hope that doesn't make you think less of me.
No, I think when it comes down to it, it just means at the end of the day, yes, I know somebody who's helped working with you and everything else. I'm still helping out boycott him. I never met him a day in my life.
Kyle,
so I can tell you, I just reached out to Kyle in one case to Kyle, I may not know you, blah, 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 and everything else when I first, started connecting with him and everything else. And Kyle's response back with me, Bill, I know who you are, and I've seen you with Dan Denier and everything else. So I've done a couple of shows. I do speak to people like Dan Denier with respect to leadership and sales to try and help, coach and mentor younger people in our industry. Essentially the article and one of my roles with the company is coaching and mentoring younger people. We need to have a brand like Wellington is bigger than one person, and we want it to run long term or become, like a Nike. For that to happen, it involves all of the people that work in our company, and then the brand becomes more important. So it was actually Derek Kozar, CEO, that started by saying, why don't you start writing an article to help people outside of our company as well and share your wealth? And that's how it basically started. And then from there, as people would bring up certain topics and subjects and everything else, Ones that I would see, I would try and write it more from the point of view of also not only the shipper, but the people trying to provide services to them. I, of course, I asked you, of course, Roberto, to use the one thing you sent across me when I did the article on the Houthis and what was going on with Israelis and obviously the Suez Canal. You know, I'm still hoping that China and the US are going to be able to get these people through that and stop causing supply chain interruptions and increases again. By the same token, of course, I was flattered when you stole my Elmer Fudd meme because I've been laughing at it ever since.
Dude, really?
Rob, you stole that?
I didn't know you ever did it. Like, seriously,
Oh
I
my
did it.
God. He was so proud of that one. I'm finding more things out.
Dude,
The more
I
people
was.
I talk to, Rob's over
Hunter,
here
I will
like,
send you the message from Rob that says pointedly, I'm stealing this one, dude. That is
Oh, I
fantastic.
did. Oh, I'm right. I lie. I did steal it. I did. But his didn't say I'm hunting for freight. His was something else. So I did steal it. But it was, I changed it a little.
You're
But
right. I didn't write it like Elmer Fudd. I just said, shh, I'm hunting freight this morning.
Yes, it was. You're right. I did steal that, bro, because it was gold, man.
wow.
It was gold.
Dude, he was so proud of that one, Bill. He was like, man, that thing got so many views.
Oh, it did. Go look at that post. That shit had not like.
Well, it carries no weight with me now because now I know it was all thanks to Mr.
Well,
Bill
what can
Robinson.
I say? Hey, the you know, sometimes you got to steal ideas from others and pass them off as your own. You know, Thomas Edison. So it's just the way
you better watch out. He might be listening.
Hey. Yes, Kyle. We can all get behind that one, pal.
Hey, I have here's the thing. I literally was just talking to a veteran friend of mine today about like things going on overseas and stuff. You know, there's an easy solution to this. One U.S. naval fleet. Like, people don't understand the power that one naval fleet has, from the U.S. Navy. Like, dude, we could park a naval fleet off the coast of Yemen and all, and just completely like annihilate a city. I mean, dude, you want to get rid of it? Just find out where these people are and just annihilate a 3-acre radius around their base of operations. I'm saying they're going to stop.
Bill and I were talking about that a couple weeks ago. Bill hit me up about the deal going on in the Red Sea.
Look, Bill, it's a chain.
You guys are the most original cats I've ever met. Sir. What the hell is going on here? This is everything's fake.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Hunter. Sorry, bro. That came up.
No. It's all good. I'm just flabbergasted, to be honest, to find out how much double brokering of memes go on in these spaces.
Double brokering.
The double memes, man. This is
no. Hey, it was not double brokering between Bill and I. It was a co-brokering of memes because I advised him that I was going to do it. See, that's the truth.
That's funny you bring that up. So I want to come back to this comment right here that Alex brought up about C.H. Robinson co-brokers. He says it's double brokering. Does anybody care to share the difference between a co-broker agreement and a double broker?
Oh, please.
Okay, I'll do this real quick because it'll be easier if you wish, and I can do a shameless plug now again. You can go and read between double broker and co-broker. I just did an article a couple weeks ago. There's a big difference between co-brokering and double brokering. One is illegal, first of all. One is not illegal. The difference is when you're co-brokering, if it's not done properly, and the agreements are not done properly, again, dispatch service to a trucking company, those agreements aren't done properly, you're going to have nothing but complications. The co-broker, if it's not done legally properly and the I's and T's are not dotted properly, then it is double brokering. The difference being is what people don't realize, and the biggest difference, if I turn and say, I'm going to co-broker with Kyle, I'm going to co-broker with Hunter. The minute we decide to enter into that, which requires I'm reading Matt Dahl's comments, sorry, but they need to understand entering into that. One thing that you'll see if you read through the articles, I've told one thing to brokers to make sure they maintain their position as a broker. As long as you are a broker, you're not going to be pulled into a reptile, a shock nuclear verdict, and you're not going to likely be brought into a carrier's claim process because you are a broker. You didn't control the truck, you didn't set up the HOS, you didn't set up the routing, so therefore you're not liable. The difference is with a co-broker agreement, if I now turn and say, okay, Hunter, I'm going to send you loads from Wellington that you're going to work with your partners on under a co-broker, you're now carrier B. That means you are assuming the risk in a broker position as a carrier. So you now become the carrier, which means you basically have all claims, all liabilities from me, and my shipper would now come to you. So you have to really think about whether you're going to enter into that and who you would enter into that agreement with. Otherwise, you could be setting yourself up for not only double brokering, but a liability nightmare.
So are you saying that there's conversations and contracts that need to be had and signed before all this?
Yes.
That's
Say it
insane.
ain't so, Bill.
That's wild.
No.
You're pulling my chain, brother. That's
No, and I'm not trying to make your left leg longer than your right leg either. So at this point,
well,
at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I'm just trying to tell you what you need to do to make sure you manage yourselves accordingly and understand the differences in the rule. If you actually even go and look at it and bring up the FMCSA or Google it, it'll tell you that co-brokering is not illegal. Whereas double brokering is illegal. It's a $10,000 fine if caught and convicted. Not that
And
anybody's going to pay it.
you know the stupidity of that particular situation is that it's all of, in my opinion, laziness for the most part. You know what I mean? Like not saying, people can accidentally double broker, but when it comes to that specific situation, people just don't follow the rules. You know what I mean? They just don't. They don't put the contracts in place. They don't advise each other of what's going on. And it easily becomes an illegal situation. And it all surrounds, again, people just not following a little checklist and doing just a few little things to make sure it all goes right. Now, me personally, I don't co-broker unless we're talking like, man, I mean, I don't deal with OD or OS freight, over dimension, oversized, or everyone say. So, like if I had a customer that wanted some, I would find someone that would do it. Me, honestly, I would, if it's someone I trust, I would say, hey, man, here's my guy, just contact him. Like, I'm not worried about you stealing my freight because you do one thing, I do another. But I don't like co-brokering mainly because I don't like putting extra hands in my cookie jar. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to have to go through Jimmy, who's then got to call the carrier's dispatcher, who's then got to call the driver to get me a fucking update. You know what I mean? And there's another part of it. A lot of the other brokers on the other end, they don't give up information. How do I know that you vetted your carrier to my standards? I'm just supposed to take your word for it? How do I know that we're not co-brokering and then you're co-brokering? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is to me, it's a very slippery slope, man. A very slippery slope.
So for the viewing audience, and people are going to read and watch this later, my shameless plug is no longer any good because the rest of my article, essentially, Mr. Potato Head here just put it all out there for all of you. So that's exactly it, Rob. The other risk you have to consider is, are they vetting the carrier the right way? Do they have the insurance in place? You're going to have exposure to your customer at some point. The other aspect is, because of co-brokering, the only thing you didn't take from the article at this point, which it seems like you read at some point.
Read all your articles, bro.
At some stage, when you look at it, transparency to the shipper has to be provided in a co-brokering environment. Double brokering, see, I'm number one now. So double brokering, understand, there's no transparency to the actual shipper. If I turn around and say, okay, Mr. Shipper, I'm going to move your freight, I'm doing this, and I'm moving an interstate, and I'm using the Freight Hound as my partner, here's his qualifications and everything else, and he will be reaching out to book the final mile portion of it. That's fully transparent to the shipper. But that means, yes, I have to expose Hunter to my customer. So, Rob, you're not wrong. There's a lot of things that could certainly go wrong with it. And in partnerships, like marriages, if it breaks up, how does that affect you from a negative standpoint as a company by exposing that or entering into that relationship? So these are all very big, valid questions people have to ask if they're going to actually ever enter into it.
Yeah.
The reality right now is the biggest thing that I put down at the end of it. It doesn't matter how much you may want to do this and everything else. Here's the reality. The market will not allow. There's not enough margin with the compression. Margin compression is real right now for brokers. There's not enough margin typically to be able to co-broker freight right now between two people. So, okay,
Yeah.
hang on a second. Your transactional cost as a broker typically, unless you are uber technical at this point and set up everything EDI, API, and all of it and everything else, voice over IP and everything else, at the end of the day, your transactional cost is about $45. So for you to find a carrier, book the carrier, enter it in the system, track, trace that carrier, collect the POD, put it in the system, and then bill it, your internal cost is around $45 as a company. So
Yeah.
if you've got $100 on a load and you got a co-broker agreement going on, if $45 of transactional cost for your partners to enter that in and do it all, and yours is $45, you guys are going to split $12? You're going to split $20? There's just not enough money in it right now to do it typically anyways.
No. And that's why it's strategic partnerships. It is like you said, like if I can handle a portion of it, but I don't have the last leg of it, then it makes sense. It's
Right,
not
and this
just going out
primarily-
here like, oh, I'm too lazy to go out and sell.
Right.
So I'm going to go to people that I know have freight and just tag on to
And,
them. But, someone like Wellington that has trucks in Canada, someone like me who has trucks here in the US makes sense. Like,
Right.
And
but also it comes back to like conversation. If it doesn't
The-
make sense, it doesn't make sense. Nope. There's water under the bridge.
my
Ain't hurt
final
nobody's feelings.
my final takeaway from this is, do you see how complex this is? Fuck that. I've got enough complexity in my life trying to move loads. I do not need 15 other layers. I mean, and it sounds laziness, but I am a person that in everything that I do in my life, from when I wake up in the morning to moving freight, it is about efficiency and effectiveness. How can I get the solution and reach the goal that I want with the shortest line? You know what I mean? I don't need to be doing this. I want the straightest shot. Everyone knows the shortest route between 2 points is a straight line. I don't need stops along the way and passengers getting on and off. And honestly, like that right there is another reason it turns off to me. It's just like it's too much, man. That's just too.
Well, you see, but you're talking about like general freight though, like your day-to-day business.
Yes,
It's
yes,
just like
yes.
Yeah, like see, that's a different scenario. Like, back to my point, like if I need like a reefer LTL carrier up in Canada, which I have reached out to Bill and his boy about, Mr. Chris. Like,
Yeah, different though,
that makes
bro.
sense,
Different. I
and
agree.
it's been very transparent. Like, hey, I have this customer. They run cheese. They're out of Montreal. Do you run the trash chute? And this is an
Hunter,
actual conversation.
you and I have done this in a sense, man.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Andrew.
Yeah.
I do Andrew's dry stuff, and when Hunter was doing Dre, Hunter was doing his port work.
Yeah.
And dude, I wasn't afraid. Hunter wasn't afraid because Hunter knows, like, hey, Rob doesn't do this, and I know Hunter doesn't do this. And so like but we didn't have to do a co-broker thing. It was exactly what I said.
It's also the
customer-
respect too, and back to
Yes.
Bill's point, it's like you're not just jumping into it with any Tom, Dick, or Harry that comes across
No.
and is like, "Oh,
Well-
hey, let's work together." No, man. it
Right.
doesn't
So
happen
right
like
now
that.
at the moment, so when you look at it, Stephen Dott, he's correct. That would be a very good way of doing it through a power of attorney to manage transparency between the shipper and the two partners be working with it. So in a lot of cases in over 20 years, working with brokers in the US, I have worked with them under a co-broker and partnership to move freight for them in Canada. In a lot of cases, they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with the exchange. US drivers aren't coming here. So it's been a good fit. This last year in 2023, when you look at guys like Rob Boosie and people reaching out right now, Jason Rabin, all good friends of mine that I've met through this community on here that have provided value and support to my life and my business. When they need carriers or need something to be done, I actually am providing the relationship and hooking them up directly. There's not enough margin, especially like if you're doing refrigerated, as Hunter mentioned, to introduce you to Herb, our largest Canadian carrier, and Wendell Herb, the chairman and everything else like that, and his team. It makes more sense because they're already a premium carrier. They're our biggest and best carrier in Canada. They have the international division. So setting up directly, if I can't do it on my assets or do it for you, then that's the relationship I will connect because there's no margin. Most times I'm looking first and foremost, can my assets, my refrigerated assets, cross-border, dedicated, or in Canada, can they do the freight for you? If not, then I'm going to suggest somebody that might be able to do it for you. At the same time, like I'm the first to say when I'm on here right now, I've been trying to promote, and Jason Rabin, our president of Trucking Pros down in Wisconsin, I'm trying to direct all of you at him right now to get him some dedicated freight and some, better volume for our refrigerated dry vans. There's certain people that are working with them. I know he and John Rogers communicated, a bunch of things have been going on. So at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to put together, right? Hey, there's the smartest freight frauder right there.
Yep.
So freight fraud fighter. I better not call him a freight frauder. He won't talk to me again.
Triple F.
So really at the end of the day, when you look at it, I'm trying to promote our assets to the brokers I'm connected with here online and everything else. And, if I do have to do something intermodal, ocean, or something of that nature, well, the reality of the day is, guess what? None of you own that asset. And if I have a better mousetrap to move from Mexico to San Diego on brand new trailers and then up into Canada for you, then I'm going to present that to you and say, here's an option. Yeah. If you look at our ocean freight right now, a lot of brokers don't get involved in first mile. So if I'm able to come in and say, I'm going to move a container from China to Washington for you for $2,500 and you can put money on top of it, then that's again an area where we can support you that you don't normally have that capability or functionality yourself.
Yeah, and it saves you a lot of heartache on the back end because talking about ocean, like I've seen it time and time again. These cats, like you can be a silver-tongued devil and just know how to find people or think you know how to find people, and it blows up in your face. International work, this specialized niche freight, like it's a whole different ballgame. It's not like just booking a dry van.
Again, like in those instances, like I mean, I can understand where a proper co-broker agreement would be beneficial to everybody. I'm not against it in that sense. And honestly,
fun fact with international work, shit gets double brokered, or I don't even know if it's called that, but it is. To that point, a strategic partnership.
I'm sure it is, man. I was working on a deal with a guy from Turkey. They're a very large furniture company over there, and they want to come into the U.S. market. Well, obviously, I don't know shit about the ship lines. This was before you and I were really talking though, Hunter. So, dude, I had found this lady on LinkedIn. Her name is Cheech. And dude, she gave me the rundown. Super cool freaking chick. Oh man, super freaking
Chong cool. Industries.
Dude, no, sir. She's Hispanic and her name is really hard to pronounce in English. So she just goes by Cheech. Super
cool. Is her partner's name Chong?
That's what
no, dude, but she told me when I first talked to her, she said, if you make a Cheech and Chong reference, I will hang up the phone.
You did it right away, right?
So, so telling her you're only going to call her at 4:20 every day is not going to work out. Right? Okay.
Bro, she's so awesome. I actually need to text her again, man. She's cool. She's into cars and firearms.
Let's get her on for ladies' night.
Dude, I should reach out to her for
ladies' international woman on for ladies' night.
I'm going to DM her as soon as we get off the show. Anyway, so I was putting together this deal, man. Obviously, I don't know anything about ship lines or how to quote them. He wanted stuff coming out of multiple ports in Turkey, coming into multiple ports into the U.S. And so, I got with her, but it was transparent from the start. I told the guy, hey, I can't help with this, but once we get it to U.S. shores, dude, I can get the transloading done. I'll do the final mile stuff. And I set up a meeting with him and her and myself. And we talked about everything, man. She asked questions and did her thing. And so again, in those instances, I get it, man, because you have to, I don't know who said it and I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, you're only as successful as the people that are around you. You know what I mean? And if you can't do something, you have to be man or woman enough to admit it and say, hey, I need help from you, and find someone that can help you, bring up your shortcomings. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but this situation, hey, I don't know do international freight. That's my shortcoming, but Bill does. So Bill's going to come and he's going to elevate me, and Bill and I together, we're going to make that plateau, that even footing, that concrete foundation that you need to get something done. So,
yeah, 100%. And dude, through that, you learn.
Hey, there's the guys at Truck Stop. I'm going to come on this show more often, so that way I can make sure you guys are reading the articles. Because again, in this case, Rob, when we talk about it, we as brokers in North America and as asset carriers, we fight to make sure we're not double brokered. We fight to make sure that nobody else is touching our freight. If we are collaborating with an ITS like a Curtis or, a bunch of the smart guys or the people we work with, okay? If we're going to talk about doing that, LTL is a network and there is consolidation. There's going to be interlining and sharing of freight. However, when you look at normally what we do as brokers, we fight to make sure nobody else touches our freight. The minute you move into international freight, it's all about partners. It's all about collaboration. So right now, moving containers, like when the crap and the shit hit the fan and started in the Suez, we had 19 containers sitting there.
Yeah.
So it took us to add 2 other partners to get our freight moved without a $2,000 container surcharge. So again, it's collaboration. One of my guests,
you need those agents that speak Mandarin or Hindi or that have those relationships. Like, are you going to call a drayage service in Shanghai? No. Are you going to get that paperwork done? No.
But again, because you're exporting,
in talking steam supplies, are you going to get that contract direct?
No.
Good luck even getting in contact with them.
Right. So see, because you've done some of this clearly. So when you look at it, we have agents in New Zealand, we have agents in Germany, we have agents in China, agents in India, agents in Australia. So we have agents to allow for that export arm and for them to manage the inland portion as required. Yep. If it's a port to door move, they're basically doing paperwork for us.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they're still part of that process and that collaboration to move that freight.
Yep.
So it does require a different partnership. When we became members of the Canadian International Freight Forward Association, or CIFA, within a couple of months, we were able to make partnerships and relationships with DP World. They have 5,600 partners worldwide. They control 52% of all ports in the world now. 62% of all freight coming through Canada is handled by the ports owned by DP World and managed by them. So this gave us a bigger view of the world than we could have just sitting here in Ontario. We have relationships direct with MSC. We have HMM. We have Maersk. Hapag is one of our bigger partners in certain areas. We're moving freight from Japan, China, India, New Zealand. So when you look at it, our little international division is now growing substantially, or is growing quickly at this point, because we are making sure that everybody involved is fully aware of what it is and that we provide a competitive price. More importantly, with our system cargo-wise, we give the customer full visibility of communication to know where the container is at all times.
Yep.
That's not something that every freight forwarder and every ocean supplier is willing to do.
Dude, freight forwarders, man, they're some of the most organized, chaotic people I've ever seen, but a lot of them aren't. There's a lot of really bad freight forwarders out there that, they don't keep track with the bookings, if that train's overbooked. Well, you get your carrier to come in and you know what? That container's not ready to be pulled yet. That rail ticket hasn't been paid yet. Like, there is so much shit that can go wrong, but even just transparency of like the ocean side. And Rob, like, I know you don't know a lot about it, but dude, this is not like truckload shit. Like, selling or even getting a bundle of containers planned, dude, it's months in process. Like,
I fucking believe it, dude. Because you and I have had those conversations, man, about
dude, like, if you don't do it right, man, a container gets stuck or like something goes wrong. I mean, dude, that's hundreds of dollars a day. You talk about some per diem or like, ooh, It gets nasty. And I'm
Right.
talking hundreds of
So one of
dollars
my
a day.
better customers, MSC and a large broker freight forwarder, through the COVID period, they were letting containers sit around, and if we hadn't got involved, the demurrage charges were going to be $950,000 US.
Damn.
Dude,
Think
it's
about that.
bad.
Think about adding
It's
$1
bad. They don't play
million
around.
to the freight.
You take up space, you hold that container, dude, it's like $500 a day.
And you know what? First of all, I like Steve because he takes Rob to task. And I like the fact that, yes, he understands what he's talking about on here. I do want to go back to one comment because I do like, I like the way the boys tease each other back and forth even though they're on the same show. Alex needs to become a broker already so he will have a better understanding.
Yeah,
They love each other. What you heard, man?
Alex is talking about becoming a broker. So I want to touch on this. I love carriers and dispatchers who say they want to become a broker and change things. Every motherfucker that is a broker has said the same thing.
Hey, grass is always greener. Grass is always greener on the other side.
I'm gonna do things right. And dude, when they get on this side, hey, here's the thing: is they don't understand it. As a dispatcher, it's about making money. As a broker, it's about making money. As a carrier, all of these. As a carrier, you don't like losing money. As a broker, you're not going to like losing money to a carrier. So
I'm just going to quote the Grateful Dead here. The wine ain't sweeter and the grass ain't greener on either side of the hill. Okay. And that is fact. Like everybody looks at it like, oh, I can go and be a broker and make 70% margins and get my G-Wagon. Bullshit. Oh, I can go buy a truck and drive and make $100,000 in my first 10,000 miles.
I was just about to say the same thing about brokers, man. Brokers say, oh, if I had a truck, I'd know the fuck you wouldn't. Dude, you wouldn't. Most brokers, you wouldn't last a month out there on the road. You would go bankrupt within 30 days. Like, hand to God, promise everything, you would make it. So I love when both sides say that, especially when neither have no idea what the other goes through. So all you brokers out there that want to be carriers, hey, go buy a truck. See how you fare. All you carriers and dispatchers out there that think you're going to come be a broker and you're going to change the industry, good luck, brother. There's millions of us.
Just go watch some G-Face videos on YouTube. Just go watch G-Face videos on YouTube. He'll tell you how to do it.
So, one thing I can share, because Wellington Group of Companies, so, we have an ocean division. Yeah. By the way, Steve, that's not helping me. Stop typing. Because one of the things I do want to touch on before we shut down, I turned down LLI outload. Okay, anyways, I can't understand that one. So, in any event.
Oh, that's the cannabis king right there. Adam. Yeah. He was our first live driver.
So we have 5, 6 divisions in Wellington. One's an asset division. One's in Wisconsin. One is dedicated asset division here, and one we have some carrier for hire available from time to time through Maddie Sidhu, our operations manager. Here's the difference. I don't get involved. Like, I may sell when they need volume or stuff. I may reach out or introduce them to people, but I don't actually get involved, and nor do I profess to be the expert in asset. The team that run that, like Chris West and, Maddie Sidhu and that group and everything else, they're the asset experts. Jason, our president and his team in Wisconsin that run Trucking Pros, they're the asset experts. I understand enough about asset to be dangerous. I understand triangulation. I understand costing and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not the guy you want planning the trucks and dealing with the drivers. So when you look at our international division, Marcus is an expert in international freight. He's not working with the asset trucks. Our logistics division, they broker and move freight and know how to do that and how to vet carriers and what their actual requirements are. The number one being customer pays all bills, and customer requires visibility to their freight and their supply chain. We have to have contingency planning and carriers deep in the event a carrier does have a challenge or breaks down. So they're all run completely different and completely separately. And when people come on and, I agree. If you're starting this business and sales, develop a niche. Look at where your company niche is, go out and sell that and build it and learn to become an expert. understand though, the people we have working in here, so we got guys who sell asset, guys who sell ocean, guys who will sell at that point, they're basically selling a niche. The difference is when you get to a certain size, we call it vertical selling. So we have a guy that sells only flatbeds. That's his specialty. Now, teaching him flat rail car and everything else is an easier thing to teach him because he already stands flatbed. So now we're going to move it and move 60, 80,000 pounds as opposed to your standard 44 weight. So we're going to get more tonnage, and the rate we're going to bring down per ton by utilizing different modes. But again, at the end of the day, if you look at C.H. Robinson, people want to take shots at them, or they want to take shots at TQL. You know, guys, they are people that sell their verticals and sell what they're experts at. They don't have some guy sitting there selling 15 different services that he knows nothing about. Oh, okay. Now
you saying they don't do that at TQL?
LQT.
Oh, sorry. LQTGTB or whatever.
Oh, dude, no, they.
No,
you get a list. You make 600 calls.
I understand. Listen, I understand a lot of people like to bash people online. I will never do that. First of all,
I'm not bashing. I work there. I know how it goes. But I found drayage as my first love. You know, like I understood truckload and everything, like to a certain degree, but I stuck in my lane. And
again,
I've bounced around. I've bounced around, and I didn't, you know, like Rob was saying before, like he handled truckload for a dude up in Cleveland, and I handled drayage for a dude up in Cleveland.
Right.
And
so you
that's all I did.
You both manage your vertical, your niche, your expertise.
Yeah. And see, I'm kind of like, I mean, I'm gonna bring Jeff Dickinson into this because he's the one that like kind of. I don't know. I've always just wanted to get my hands on as many aspects of the industry as I possibly could. And, you know, I've just stunk my teeth into whatever it was that piqued my interest at that time. And, you know, here I am back in truckload and I'm helping Rain Dogs with their drayage division and some different things. But, you know, it is beneficial. But I'm never going to be that guy that's like, hey, I can come out here and do 15 different things. You know, I can do every single thing for you. I know a good bit about everything, but there are certain things that if it's outside of my wheelhouse, I will not touch because I just know the repercussions that come with over promising and under delivering. I fucked up a million times, dude. A million times.
I agree with that 100%. And when you look at it, somebody asked me the one time in a message when they read one of my articles. And then after a month, they came back and said, okay, so what makes you a subject matter expert on these? My reply was, I'm not a subject matter expert. I might be a generalist, whichever way you want to look at it. The advantage I have when I write about things is because Wellington does deal with first mile freight. They do deal with middle mile freight. They deal with drayage. They deal with warehousing and distribution. We have an asset LTL division, temp and dry, a hot shot sprinter division. We have a final mile e-commerce division. So that's why I get exposed to so many different aspects of freight, including the asset divisions dedicated. Right. So that's what gives me more of a visibility to a lot of the different modes and different types of freight moving when I write about it. It's also, in certain cases, if I have questions, I'll go to Armchair and I'll ask him a question. You know, so
well, right? See, dude, that's funny, man. So we were on a Millennials in Trucking podcast a few weeks ago, and they're talking about advancing, you know, not getting stuck complacent and, you know, being one of these cats that just sits down and are like, oh, being in transportation is just a job. No, I brought up an example of you, Bill. You had some certificate that you just got recently. And I said, I've seen people in this business for multiple decades that are still learning, still reaching for more information to just absolutely solidify themselves in this industry and you know, be able to produce and have a conversation about it, because the more you learn about things, the more you can talk about it, the more you learn on the back end of that.
So I'm at this point, I'm a little over the 20 now at this point. But I was lucky enough, right? So if you take your age of 20 and times it by 3 and add a couple to it.
Okay.
Bill said he's so old, his social security number is 2, and that's only because Jesus is 1.
Well, I don't know, man. I think Jeff might have
You're an ass.
Jeff might be the test of
No.
Social Security cards there.
You're right. You're right. Bill, you're 3.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, when it comes down to it, Dickinson and I might be the same age, so smart asses knock it off. But in any event,
No.
Now,
This is just a joke about Jeff, man. I'm about to make a compilation of every time he gets on our show where he's just like, "I'm out of here."
Yeah.
Walking on it. See you guys later.
Cowboy is one of those guys like Dale Prax, Drew Wilder. When I first met these guys and started talking to them, it's like I'd known them for years. Upgrade to a mentor status recently, so I'm training the next gen ABC 3-letter professionals. Okay, good one, Adam. So
Adam's a good guy. He's a driver. Super. We met him live on a show in a truck stop. But anyway, so sorry, Bill. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No problem. So Hunter, to your point, okay, when it comes down to it, right? See, there's another old guy. So when you look at it, I was lucky enough in my 20s to have a mentor that told me this comment: I must learn something new every day or I would be dead. It's nap time. Gotta go. Okay, Mr. Doc. See, all those old guys. And Hunter, what did I say to you about you doing the show at this time of night?
We're cutting into his nap time. He's going to be very grumpy tomorrow.
I want to be like Dot, and I want to be like, I'm pretty sure it was, who said it on here? I'm pretty sure it might have even been Kyle. Yeah, Sleepy Joe. So when it comes down to it, a mentor taught me back in my 20s, I must learn something new every day or I would be dead, or I must be dead. So I asked him, and as he went through it, what it comes down to is I strive to learn something new every day. When I reach out to people on LinkedIn, Kyle Graves was one of them when I saw something he put out on an LTL thing and something he was doing out of California. So then at that point, I said, okay,
we are not promoting this. All right. This is all from the chat. The chat is after Bill.
Okay, I've had my power nap ready to go. But when I reached out to Kyle, again, my connection request was, liked your comment, liked your post, your content, look forward to learning if I'm able to connect with you and join your network. When you look at like Casey Jenkins, she's one of the smartest people when it comes to process and supply chain. When I saw that, afterwards I had a call with her and she made some comments and some statements. And I said, you know what? You're somebody that I'm going to stay in touch with and I'm going to follow. Matt was the same kind of thing. I said, armchair, again, learning. So when all this stuff started happening with Convoy, first and foremost, we concerned about the employees and what took place in one day. But then after that, when I went to Armchair, my biggest thing was, okay, how can these guys continue to not be put into Chapter 12 or Chapter 11, yet they go out and sell the software to Flexport, and nobody's saying anything, and that money is not being brought in to pay carriers or employees right now. So I know he has been working on it and working on answers to come back with it, but the reality at the end of the day is we don't know how they're sort of pushing that envelope or skirting it. And because I wrote an article on nuclear verdicts and shock and reptile, I have all these lawyers that decide to try and follow me. When I reach out and ask them the question, nobody can answer it right now. How has the government allowed these people to go as long as they have? How do people at Yellow bankrupting a company walk out with bonuses?
We've talked about that so many times. Oh my, I am so.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to Armchair. I asked them the same question with when Yellow somehow just paid off all their debts with cash. He said there's always bread in the chicken coop.
And I want to say this, that you using the Convoy thing as an example, Yellow, how messed up is it that, again, the carriers are the drivers are the ones that are screwed? What you just said, they're selling all that stuff to Flexport. You know who's going to get that money is the executives. They're going to walk away with their fancy bonus that they signed into their contract. Some of their other creditors are going to get their money, but you know who's not? Are the ones who actually helped Convoy build their fucking business, and that's the drivers. Same thing with Yellow. Yellow did all this bankruptcy stuff. They found the money to pay back the U.S. government. Why? I don't fucking know. What are they going to do to you? Like, you're bankrupt, you're out of business. What are they going to take from you? They're already taking everything. They sold all these properties. You know who's not getting any of that? The drivers. Nobody's getting their pensions. Nobody's getting their benefits. None of this stuff. So, man, I am so with you on. Man, I'm so with you, dude. And you know what? You know why the government does it is exactly the yellow situation. I don't know if they did it with Convoy, probably not, but they give these people loans and tax breaks and make agreements that, hey, if I do this for you and we help you out, you're gonna kick me a little something out the back door. Like something's gonna fall off the truck.
You tell me them cats with Convoy ain't got something going on with Flexport?
Well, actually, Dot said he was going. Dot said he was going for a nap, but Dot's back, and that's a very interesting comment. I like that.
He's in the lazy boy right now. He's flowing in and out.
No, he was saying Jeff. He said Jeff. It's nap time. Gotta go. He was saying like as he was Jeff. That's what he did. Nobody.
Oh, okay, got it. Right.
Yeah. He was like Jeff.
Just nap time. Gotta go. Right.
Where's Jeff? Yeah, Jeff's definitely napping or getting his horse drunk.
That's a great comment that Steve just made with respect to future consideration. One thing I can also add, because I know Rob brought it up, there's a really great shipper out there and company. So when this all went down, there's a lot of challenge that went around it. But they've already gone to the courts and they've already put $520,000, I believe it was, or just over $500,000 they've put in trust right now. So in the event that, the boys at Convoy don't pay the carrier that did all the work, they're going to. So some of them will get paid. Get Lashisha James on them. Okay, if she can go and get them, then let's do that, Robert. So when it comes down to it, some of them will get some money because the shippers understand the BOL Act and they understand that people actually did the work with the carriers, not, in this case, Convoy. So they have to put the money in trust, depending on what the court determines. And if they don't get any money from the Convoy to pay that carrier, then they're going to pay them directly.
Yeah. But you know what I mean, Bill. In those, I mean, you get it, brother. I know you understand what I'm saying. It's in these
majority of cases, the carrier doesn't get paid. You're absolutely right.
Look, let's go way back into time, and we talk about Enron. Let's talk about Enron. Who got paid out of that? All the executives that ran the damn company into the ground and did all the dirty stuff.
So you did now. You woke the fucker up from his nap.
I had to. I said, man, you got to get in here even for just 5 seconds.
I love my buddy Bill.
I've never seen anybody go mustache and beard as fast as you, pal.
Jeff don't play around.
No, he doesn't.
You know what? He got me all stirred up. He had to reply to this. He had to reply to this thing about the perfect order or 100% order accuracy. He made me think without realizing it. And so I just published this huge article of what I did regarding this specific subject. And I was like, thank you, Bill. I wanted to put it in my article and say, thank you, Bill. And I was like, well, fuck that. I'm going on Logistics Lounge and telling myself.
Live time. Right here.
So hold on a second. Cowboy, you're not just going to steal the shit like Pedro does?
Not my show.
I didn't even, all I was doing was talking. I didn't even think that I was giving away Bill's article, man. I didn't. But see, Bill, hey, let that tell you, dude, I read all your stuff, man. I have notifications set up for certain people, and you're one of them, dude. So like everything you post, man, I read it. So take it as a compliment, although I did not mean to give it away.
Who's the other?
Yeah, Jeff. Jeff, you are Jeff. I already told you. I got notifications.
Seamus, listen, you know what? As you guys are all doing the women in transportation and everything else, the reality is I've known strong women for over 20 years in this industry. You know, I think it's, to some degree, I will say this because I know a bunch of people are asking me to potentially get involved. I will gladly get on a show, especially with my good friend Christy and Jeff and everything else. The reality is it's sad that we have to say that we're going to recognize and bring it to the forefront. That, you know, we look at it from a different perspective, certain people do in this industry. Because the reality is what they bring and what they do is quite impressive. And when you look at some of the people that I've pointed out, whether it be like a Sarah Barnes, whether it be the people at Women's Trucking, which Jeff has had on, Shelly and stuff of that nature. These people are making a difference. These people are impacting our industry for the positive for them. In a lot of cases, everybody on LinkedIn wants to talk about negatives a lot. I have no time for that, frankly.
I have no time for that shit.
Exactly. I want to look at the positives. I saw a post that people were swearing at each other. And, two of them got suspended for a period of time. And I'm going like, well, no shit. You can't talk like that. It's about respect and professionalism, this platform. It's not about getting on there and saying, well, you're fucking wrong. You're fucking, that's not what this was designed for. And then the Carrier Summit, which Jeff and I are both very big in promoting right now. At the end of the day, when you look at it, as I'm telling carriers, and when you got like Steam Logistics and people reaching out saying, should I come? And I say, yeah, and bring your gong too. I haven't seen it showing up yet at, like anywhere else in Rare. Let's put it in Kansas City. Let's take it to the stadium. So, these carriers as well, and we're trying to get a wide and we're trying to do that stuff. And Dale is close with them, so I'm trying to get him to help spur it and stuff. Because I think a lot of the tensions are on LinkedIn. A lot of tensions are on social media. When you look at the carriers that we all work with.
Social media ruined the industry. Social media ruined our fucking industry. It did.
It has, but it's coming around. People are starting to utilize it for the right thing.
You know what it is? Let me sum this up, Pedro, for 1 second.
Facebook.
You remember as a kid, the Grapevine?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, that's exactly what happens. Somebody starts out with a white subject line, and by the time it gets to the end, it's red.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They'll twist it, they'll mangle the shit out of it.
That's what I mean.
They'll create their own little oasis that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. And they'll put it out there like that's the law. And it's not. And that's what causes the fucking problems. Listen, I'm the type of person that will agree to disagree on many different subjects. That's what the platform is about. If you have something that's knowledgeable, that you have the experience in, shed it. Shed some light, help some other people out that might not be, privy to that or have a good understanding. I mean, you can only say so much on the platform, right? But just try to help them out and just do away with this bullshit. I mean, it's unbelievable. What I'm doing my podcast, I don't want no fucking credit at all on it. And I told Christy that. I said, I'm doing it for other people. I want to bring light. I want to shed it out there. I want people to have different perspectives on the male side, on the female side, and let that be heard. We have the platform to do that. Unbelievable.
I want to, we kind of went through a couple different things here in the last few minutes. So I want to unpack each of them individually. Bill, on your comment about the women's thing. So I am not going to give full credit to the lounge for this, but when it comes to us with our women's night, it kind of all just unfolded because someone made a post. I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about how women aren't highlighted enough in this industry. And Hunter was like, Rob, he's like, dude, should I tell them? Why don't you go back and look at all the episodes of the Logistics Lounge where a third of them are all females? That was not by design. It was just accident because I don't know.
Jeff. It wasn't Jeff that posted.
No, I'm not saying it was. I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was.
WIT all day, baby.
Yeah, but point is Hunter and I also are into shticks. We like to celebrate things. Every little holiday, everything we can. And Hunter was like, Rob, March is Women's History Month. Dude, we should do a freaking ladies' night. How cool would that be? And so ours was just kind of hey, yeah, people aren't doing a lot of them, but hey, let's us do something and change it up. I am this type of person with everything in my life. I don't see sex or creed or religion or color. Dude, I don't give a shit. You could be a pink-eyed pink man. I can't remember the song from the Purple People Eater.
Bill and one-horned giant purple people eater.
Yes, you could be from wherever. I don't give a shit if you're bringing value, education, information, and intelligence to the conversation and to the arena. Dude, I'm all about it. And I say dude is guys and chicks because I think dude is just a word for everybody. So there's that. On the social media thing, here is what I mean. Honestly, I can't say too much about LinkedIn. I'll tell you that over about the last year, I'm a LinkedIn fanatic. Like I literally keep LinkedIn open on its own window all fucking day, every day. And like I'm like watching stuff that's going on there between my day because it is so informative. And I've met so many great, incredible people who are just knowledgeable and teach, man. Like, you know, Jeff is one of them. Bill, you're one. Claudia Catlett, Bandon, Dale Pratt, like Stephen Dott, all of them, like is so many to list. But I will say he's not come on the show yet. He's commented, but a guy that I know named Ed, I call him a unicorn because he's a shipper, carrier, and a broker. And that is, we all know that's a unicorn in this industry.
That's a unicorn.
Yes. But dude, he's old school, man. He's been in it since like right after deregulation. And he's one that said it. He's like, Rob, social media ruined this industry. He said, because, and especially with today's generation in society, because we see it on social media, and if it's got 500 likes, it must fucking be true. You know what I mean? If the person says it in a believable way and they've got all these great graphics and backgrounds, it must be true. And that's what I mean. And is it like the Facebook, the TikTok, the YouTube, the X, even all these people on there, and this is no hate to teachers because this doesn't do it for that, but it's the people who couldn't do in our industry, so they decided to go teach other people their dumbass bad habits. And that's where we got all these dispatchers, all these COVID crusaders that came in this industry that were working at 7-Eleven last week, who talked to the McLean driver that delivers their freight. I say that because McLean has a contract with 7-Eleven. Talked to the McLean driver last week who complained about something. And it is, as I like to say, their mother's brother, sister's dog's cousin's best friend's uncle's dad said, man, you can make $1 million if you go buy a truck. And that's all it took, man. That's all it freaking took. And it is it's an absolute disaster. I wouldn't say an absolute disaster, but it's become a disaster.
Hey, well, yeah, we'll get old John Brewer on for this one.
I guess I'm out.
Well, Jeff, we all know it's a toupee. We all know it's a toupee, okay?
I think when you look at Rob's case, so let's teach Rob how to be politically correct, first of all, right? Rob, you have to say follically challenged moving forward. A lot of people don't like to be called bald, Rob. So, and I understand people call themselves bald, but follically challenged sounds challenged. Follically challenged. Same as, listen, you know what? I identify as being thin. So now I'm a trans slender now.
I want to say something. I want to say
this. Guys, it was great joining you this evening. See you.
There's another one for the clip.
I want to say something about the bald thing. So I worked with a guy years and years and years ago before I was a driver, and everyone used to do the old joke, "Hey, Mr. Clean, blah blah blah," because he was bald, and he had the best comeback I have ever heard for someone who's bald. He says. He told me, he said, hey, man, he said, everyone thinks that I lost my hair. He's like, they don't understand. I shaved my head because this is my solar powered sex machine.
Okay, next topic.
I was like, dude, that is the best comment I've ever heard with that. He said this, or he says this is the solar power for my sex machine. That's what it was. He said. I was like, dude, I remember that for like 2 decades. It was such a good comeback, man.
So I'm sure you probably heard the the Super Bowl, of course, and all the crap that went on with it. But the one I liked the best was when the woman sent it out to me to say, hey, I heard Taylor Swift's boyfriend is playing football at an Usher concert. I thought, you know what? That's a good one. That's pretty true, isn't it? So, some of the things depend the way people look at it. But the one thing about it is Taylor Swift brought an audience. The Super Bowl was much larger that they wouldn't have had without it. We know that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I don't believe in any of the rest of the crap that, she's going to win elections or do any of that kind of stuff. It's not my thing, right?
It was the highest viewed broadcast in television history.
Sorry, Hunter.
That's an
Oh,
old joke there, Robert.
We gotta have
Oh,
all right, we
man.
gotta have a bald night now. It's apparent, or audibly impaired.
Taking off the rails,
you
man.
got to give Rob the golf clap for that one.
Well done.
Especially
Oh.
when you're sitting here and right
I think
now.
he's got about
I mean,
160 to the hole there, Dave.
That's right. It's about a 9-9.
He's
you know,
Yeah, he's using a pitching wedge.
Exactly. Think about the Jeff case
four.
right now. Jeff can grow hair on his face faster than most of these people can grow it on their heads. No question.
Back.
Rogaine.
Hey, I don't
Try it
know.
out.
Wait till he tells you about the manscaping contract that he has coming up. The Manscaped Lawnmower 5.
We should
think it's
we
gonna
should
be-
have
Brought to you by Brill Cream and Rogaine.
we should have a beard. We should
Ladies
have
and
a beard
gentlemen,
growing.
watch the show. Get a free bottle of Rogaine.
We should have a beard growing contest. I would put $100 on it right now that I could grow a beard faster than probably almost anyone. My wife, dude, I could shave, and as my wife says, I have a 5 o'clock shadow at 11 a.m.
Okay,
There you
well, I'll
go.
tell you what. I'll take that
I like
bet,
that.
and I'll bet
We
on
should.
I'll bet on the old guy. And when we all get
Who's
together
that?
at the Boca Raton
Yes.
Summit, hey, don't go for a nap right now, old guy. Come back. Remember, the last time I saw Jeff and we were chatting together on a thing, Jeff shaved Monday, completely to the wood. And look at his face again. You want to compete with that? That's like trying to say, listen, I understand you're a big guy, but I can gain weight. I can gain weight faster than you.
No, I can gain a hell of a lot more weight than you, Bill. Trust me, man.
Okay. Again, I'm not betting you. I'm going after beefcake and potato.
Where's the
Whatever,
snake?
man.
Hey, listen, I watched the show when Hunter got called the eye candy. Which after that, I
Yeah,
reached out to him and I
thanks
said,
for Ryan.
Ooh, hey,
I
Hunter.
reached out and I
man.
said, by the way, they're completely wrong, Hunter.
I know.
You are arm candy. Because
I'm not-
eye
dude.
candy means you're pretty with no brains. You're pretty with brains, so you're arm candy.
Hunter is
I appreciate that, dog. That's big time.
Hunter is
Give
the
your eyes a check.
instead of a trophy wife, he's a trophy host.
and he's all yours, Mr. Potato. By the way, is your beard exchangeable?
Yeah.
There used to
Hey,
be a toy
look
where
at-
you can
look
put
at Hunter,
ears on,
man.
eyes
You're
on,
getting
beard,
all freaking red and puffy. Come on, calm down, Hunter. Calm down.
Ooh.
Well, gentlemen, I got to say this because I'm supposed to be on a call at 7 o'clock my time, and I've just realized I haven't even gone home yet. It's 6:25, and I've had Hunter and you cut into my nap now, so I'm not going to be able to do that before the next show. So I really
You're
truly
old, dude.
appreciate
You are old.
Yeah, tell him, Jeff.
You are.
I know, like when it comes down to. By the way, just before you came on, they were debating who was older, you or me. So
Yes, hey, we literally were. We have now. Hey, Jesus, the social security number is 1. Jeff, yours is 2, and Bill is 3.
Uh-oh.
now I can say this, by the way, my social insurance card is cracked right down the center of it. It's in a drawer at my house because I picked it up right now. It got issued to me in, I think I got it in 1972 or 1973. So the
You're
thing
old.
is barely holding together. But yes, I'm old. I understand that, Mr. Dickinson. Gentlemen, at the end of the day, I really enjoyed being on the show. It was a true pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Call me, Bill.
I will give you a shout tomorrow. And at the end of the
There's
day,
that.
guys, if there's anything I can do to help support and provide information, by all means, let me know. And again, truly enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us,
Bill.
Bill. Even though it took
Yeah.
us like 3 months to get you on the show.
I was
Hey.
traveling. And I'm trying to. Got to remember, I'm hunting freight. Remember?
Hunting.
I love it. Thanks for coming on, Bill, man. We really appreciate it, dude. And hey, you have been amazing. Thank you for hooking us up with Dez. Dude, that guy is so awesome. Like we have talked to him, and I've talked several times. Really great guy. Just, dude, we just appreciate you being you and being a part of everything that everyone's got going out there as far as trying to make this industry right and teach people and inform people on the proper ways to do things in this industry, man, and highlight good, informative information, which is kind of a double negative, isn't it? But whatever.
Well, that's where I think that's where I think when you look at these shows, they can make a difference in a big way, guys. You know, the coaching and mentoring at these shows can bring together individuals as they gain traction. You know, Dan Denier and the Monk is where I first met Jeff, in fairness, Ryan Muhammad. And, you know, doing their show, when you look at it, they're trying to help all young reps be able to not only maximize the revenue, but figure out different ways to sell and how to approach this industry, how to do it the right way. Then when I met Jeff and he started his show and everything else, again, it was about, you know, coaching and mentoring, life lessons. And then it's evolved now into not just life lessons, evolving more into a supply chain and understanding of what shippers really truly expect, what they want. You guys, when I first started watching, when the first person told me, hey, you should check these guys out, not only did I find it informative, but I found it entertaining. And I think that's the key. When you look at the Street Crew on the Friday, I watched a show, I think in December. I don't think I've laughed that hard in probably like a month. So with it, I think if you can make it entertaining, we will attract people in our industry to come and learn.
We appreciate it, Bill. That's all we try to do, man, is just exactly what we do here. Just bring people in, just chill out. There's no agenda, man. Hey, it's I wouldn't say a free for all, but it's a free for all, man. I mean, look how our conversation has shifted here. But that's where the best ideas and the best mentorship and the best collaboration, connections, networking. Like I could just throw a bunch of big words out there, but like that's where it all happens, is in a space where people don't realize that they're doing those things, teaching, connecting, networking, informing, you know, like again, this is just four dudes just chilling, shooting the shit. Look at all the freaking info that we have given out in this show. Bill, go home, take your 5-minute power nap, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Appreciate it. And of course, the one thing, all three of you have nicknames. I'll come up with one. But right now, you got Beefcake, Cowboy, and Potato. Appreciate it. Thank you all, gentlemen, for spending time with me tonight.
Thank you, Bill.
See you later, Bill.
Ciao, guys.
Later. Dude, that was so fucking awesome having him on the show finally. Man.
He's
Like,
a good man.
I was looking at the emails, dude. Yeah, we were chatting it up with him like mid-December.
yes, that's what I mean. 3 months. Like, seriously, like, dude, I'd have to go check the DM, but like, I think him and December, like maybe the last week in November, it has been, how crazy is it that he was able to get Desmond Clark on the show before he was able to find time on the show?
Yeah. He immediately was looking out for the best interest. And
Yeah.
that's what it's
Bill.
all about.
That's what Bill is all about, you know. And just to reiterate what he was saying about this show and word on the street and Fridays. Listen, guys, logistics industry is mean. It's brutal. It's stressful. And if you can have a show like this on a Friday, or even watch, word on the street, it breaks the week up. It ends the week on a great note where everybody just wants to pull their fucking hair out and just go drinking and whatever because they had a rough time. We kind of break that up and we help them, to come down a little bit, and that's what I enjoy most. Because I mean, I can be a hard ass, but I can also be fun and laugh my ass off all the time. But this is what it's all about, the entertainment side of it.
I agree with that, Jeff. And I mean, you've said this before, exactly what you just said. And we told you how much we appreciate that you recognize it. And that's all we want other people to recognize. And Hunter and I've said this a million times. The whole point of the lounge is to get away from all the analytic bullshit and the fancy little graphics and the truck rate for this week is $2.50 a mile year over year, blah, 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 blah. Dude, that's all great stuff. But the best information, like, comes out when you're hanging with the homies And I don't mean just guys. Like homies to me is guys, girls, dogs, cats. But that's what it is when you get people into their comfort zone, not out of it in this industry, into their comfort zone, and information just flows freely and conversation switches. And we're talking about double brokers, and then like, oh, holy crap, I just moved this crazy freaking load and I had no idea what I was doing, but so and so helped me. And then we go into co-brokering and how it can be beneficial. You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that Hunter and I want, and it the equation, I don't fucking know how to say it, but I
what you're getting at is when people ask me what the Logistics Lounge is about, it's about logistics. There's no agenda. There's no single conversation to be had. It's if you're in this industry or have an interest in this industry, come on, come pull up a chair and join the lounge. Like, just don't be a Terry, but.
I wish. Oh my God, that I that
you think
guy,
a reunion's ever gonna happen?
No, I like, dude, like I don't know, like nice guy, very nice guy. I really have no problem with him, but I mean, I can't have that level of stuff, man. I don't care what you think about someone. Like you don't disrespect people on the show. Like I don't care what you think, you just don't do that type of stuff. And one thing that I do not we never talk about on here is politics, and that's just like a very favorite subject matter of him. And I don't want to do that because it stuff like that divides people. And this space is not about division; it is about unity. You know what I mean?
It is.
This isn't from experience because I've never experienced it, but this is just logical. And you're right, Pedro, about this too. You know, you talk about division. There's some people, if you happen to say one side of the politics compared to the other, they'll never talk to you again because they're just set in stone of their beliefs. And anybody that doesn't believe in what they believe, they want nothing to do with it. And it could ruin a relationship. People don't understand that. They may come across and crack jokes, but man, that one joke, it may not be received the way you think it's going to be received. And next thing you know, a $2, $3, $4, $5 million account is out the window because of that one little thing that you said. So you know what? Separate, somewhat your personal life and your beliefs compared to your business life. And that, I mean, there are people out there like you and I and Hunter, and I can name thousands of others that will bullshit with us and give us nicknames and say anything. It's not going to hurt us. It's not going to do anything because we have that thick skin. Okay. But there's other ones that they can't handle it. They can dish it out, but man, when you rebuttal and you say something back to them, they can't handle that shit at all.
You're right,
brother. And Dale is right on this. Absolutely. That's why we created that platform to get rid of these differences and have a really good understanding how both sides operate and to vent. It really is. It's a venting platform where you seek to understand and then to be understood.
That is a good one, Steven. Holy shit. I never thought about that. Oh,
hey, Steven, we didn't get you on the show.
Yeah, there you go.
Along with Clint. Yeah, we gotta get Clint back on the show, but that's a good idea. I never even thought about that.
But Jeff, to touch on what you're saying, man, you're absolutely right, man. There's some people can take it, and I'll tell you the two things that I never discuss or that we never discuss on the show are politics and religion. And the two things that I never discuss with my customers, except for a handful of them that I've really gotten close to on a personal level, is politics and religion. Because you can screw, dude, you can do the best business together and be the best freaking logistics partner they have ever had. But man, if you say something that opposes their views or their morals, like that's something with people that transcends money. You know what I mean?
That's where situational or social awareness comes into play.
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't have that. Talking about the arguments that we've seen pursue on the LinkedIn here as of late. Prime example.
Hey guys,
in the back rooms.
Yes,
Get Steve on the show. Meanwhile, guys, you have a good night. I got to get out.
You too, Jeff.
So
All right, Jeff. Have a great nap, man.
Hey Jeff, hey, listen, I'm going to DM you. I don't know why I forgot about this. Before you go, I'm gonna get some pictures of my buddy's car tomorrow and send them to you because you're a Cadillac guy. My best friend Bill, coincidentally, is his name. But he has a Cadillac Black Series, and if you don't know what that is, go look it up.
Got the Black Hawk.
Whatever it is, I don't fucking know. It's like the fastest Cadillac that Cadillac makes. It's like 500 and something horsepower, like 600 pounds.
I think it's got more than that. I think it's close to 700.
Maybe the Blackwing.
Blackwing, that's what it is.
Yeah, the Blackwing Cadillac. It's got more than the V Cadillac. Yep.
Yeah, I'm a Cindy. I knew he's had it for a while, but today he took me to go sell my car, and he's like, Rob, you never drove the Cadillac, have you? And I said, no. Dude, I got in it. We turned out a CarMax where I sold my car, and he looks over at me and says, punch it. Dude, like, hey.
You gotta give them love. They're sports cars.
I love that stuff. I gotta go, guys. I'll talk
to you later,
Jeff. We'll see you, brother.
You got it.
Hey, Dad. Hey, since you're on, Hunter and I are actually about to jump on X.
Yep.
Anyone that is watching us, we are about to get off here and we're going to go on X. Is there a room already on X?
Yeah,
Hunter?
Justin Martin. Learn how to make negative $50,000 with the sign-on bonus.
Yes, Justin Martin is has a room, and if you're on X, anyone go jump on there. If you jump on your phone or even on your PC, there'll be a thing at the top that'll have like people that are in live rooms that you're connected with. Click on the one that says Justin Martin. It may show Hunter and I's face, but jump in there, come chill with us, come chat with us. Yesterday we were in there for about 5 hours, had a fucking fantastic time. Dad, I'm pretty sure you're obviously on there, so I'm sure we'll see you in there. Hunter, do you have any closing comments for the peeps before we?
If you didn't watch the show, go watch the show. We'll see you tomorrow.
Isn't that the damn truth? If you didn't, bro, this was a stellar show.
That's all my closing comments are gonna be.
This was a stellar show for a Wednesday.
I had a good time.
Like, holy shit, it was. It was. I did. I had a fantastic.
I mean, I just want to give a shout out to the LinkedIn love that we've received today. I mean, everybody, I think we still have like 11 people watching. You guys,
dude, we do.
And we hit 1,500 followers today.
Yes. Oh, we hit
1,500 followers today.
1,500 followers. That's freaking crazy, bro.
It's wild.
Crazy.
Could you imagine if we were on a stage with 1,500 people sitting in front of us?
Bro, that would be nuts.
Spooked.
By the time we were done, there'd be about 5.
I mean, shit, dude. We still got 15 people watching on LinkedIn, 5 coming in from YouTube and X right now. So, I mean, shout out to the X game. Freight X is the shit. If y'all,
dude, I don't even know if X records or if X shows up. As far as I know, like
it does.
The 5
shows up. It just shows up as live on X.
Oh, so really? So the one we see on the screen is.
Are you on X right now?
No. I'll go to it right now though.
Yeah, if you go on there, it's on the side. It's in the same spot as the space.
I thought only Facebook showed up on here because that's all the ones I've ever been able to freaking track.
Man. Yeah, or X, Facebook, YouTube, it all shows up on here. LinkedIn's the only one that's not compliant.
Yeah, okay, I do see it. It shows the viewers. That's pretty freaking sick.
Yeah, man, that's why all the homies been chiming in.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah. All right. We are going to go over to X. Like I said, we're going to go there.
Make predatory towing great again.
Yes, predatory. Oh my fucking God. Oh my Jesus Christ. I just want you to know that you messed up my Cool Truck Thursday. I was you reposted it so fast before I could tell you, but when Dad posted his tow truck on spinners, I DM'd, I was like, bro, I am so going to use this for a Cool Truck Thursday and tag you in it. And then I exited and I was like, fuck, Hunter already posted it.
No, he's got multiple of them. That's not the only one he owns. I mean, he's predatory towing, dude. He's making like $100,000, $50 million per tow. And he's keeping the vehicles. What you talking about?
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. We're going to go to X. We love all y'all. We appreciate y'all coming and chilling with us. And as
don't
I
forget
always
about
say,
Sureline.
Oh, dude, you're right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I can't believe that I almost forgot about them, because you know what you shouldn't forget is how you get the money in your pocket. And if you were being charged at a starting rate of more than 2.5%, then you need to forget who the hell you're factoring with now. And you need to mosey on over to Shoreline Capital and make sure you use code LOUNGE365 when you fill out that application. You'll get your first 5 invoices for free. Sweet, Steven, we appreciate you, bro. We gotta have you on the show. I know that you and I just linked up on LinkedIn, but we definitely gotta have you on, man. As I always like to say, chunk the deuces, Mr. Hound. Roll that beautiful bean footage.